is a webinar hosted by Resource Intermediaries Limited, your most preferred organization rendering HR outsourcing, HR consulting, and business process outsourcing. And we have been doing this for 2 decades now. Yeah, we'll be 20 by July 1st, 2026. Yeah, and throughout we've been easing business burdens because people management is actually at the heart of what we do. So from human resource workforce management to expatriate management to HR consulting to HR audits to training to facilitating strategy sessions and the likes. We are your best bets and then we are your most preferred. So this webinar today, we're going to be talking about the new currency, why your personal brand is your best asset in 2026. And I'm going to be facilitating this session. My name is Ogenekewe Osaze Momo. And what I do for resource intermediaries right now, I head the brand and the customer experience team. And in today's system, where brands are competing for top of mind, competing for market share, and then trying to also deliver their services, it has become paramount that people like us we're responsible for creating brand resonance. We're responsible for managing authenticity, for managing visibility of brands, and then much more. Doing that, we also make sure that all stakeholders are comfortable. All stakeholders trust our services, trust our promise, and that's what I do for Resource Intermediaries Limited. And I head the brand and customer experience team. So we're going to be moving ahead to today's session. Like I said, I promise you that it's going to be an eye opener. I promise you it's going to be very realistic as much as possible because I'm going to be sharing my own experience, my own strategies that I use. And then when I was told to do this webinar, what just came to my head is personal branding because for the longest of time, we've been going from Z to A. So now it's time for us to go from A to Z because the world is fast moving and we don't want the world to leave us behind. We don't want the world system to leave us behind. Personal brand is a big asset. Without personal branding, I do not see how careerpreneurs, even entrepreneurs, would want to actually go further and then get the particular growth that they deserve. So we're going to be delving into it right away. And then in just defining for me, so this slide has been prepared, but I'm going to be talking more, even more that the slide has to give. Now, personal branding for me, I think that it is the process of positioning yourself to be able to express your value, to express your belief, to express your position, how you see things, how you deliver your value. Because believe me, every individual has a value to give. It's just like how we say, as our names are, so our faces differ. It's same thing with your personal brand. My personal brand will differ from any other person's personal brand. So do not get it mixed up. So now the process of you aligning your values or aligning your belief, your positions on matter. That's that process. That's what we actually refer to as personal branding. And then, believe me when I say that, especially now for social media, where we get to see different people, and then sometimes we think that this people's thought process is kind of radical, or this person's thought process. How can the person think this way? How can the person believe this way? But I beg to differ to tell you the process of the person trying to convince you, trying to align you to his belief process, his thought process, his values, his position on matters. That process, that's the branding. So that's the personal branding. And then he or she is just trying to align their values, their personal brand. That's the way I can explain what personal branding is. And then I got this from Jeff Bezos. He says that your personal brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. So what aura aura? What position do you leave? That even when Kewa is not in the room, how do people view my thoughts? How do people view me? How do people view my brand? How do people view what I believe in? That's actually what personal brand is all about. Like I mentioned, I said it is an intentional process of aligning your skills, your value, your passions with the way you are perceived by your network, not by any other person's network, but by your own network. And then as we go further, I'm going to be teaching us how to create, how to keep your network. I'm just going to be touching on it. And then the end goal is a long-term process because we want to be able to have opportunities. We want to be able to take opportunities when they come our way. That if we do not have our personal brand, or if people do not even know what we stand for, people do not cannot align our skills, our passion, they don't even know how to perceive us. That's a problem. And now I'm not just talking about anybody, I'm talking about our own network that will be able to build. So I'm sure most people joining in for the entry level, if you're just an entry level in the career world, you might be asking, how do I build this network first of all? But that's for sales and marketing training. But I'm going to be touching on some things in it. And I said personal brand is your core skills, your unique personality. Remember when I started, I said everybody has their unique personality. And not just that, it didn't end with that. I continue to say times your visibility. So it's one thing for you to have, my values, my skills, I can align them and all of that. But if you're not visible, if no other person can perceive you the way you want to be perceived, then your personal brand is on a low. Yes. And to for a long term, like I said, long term career fulfillment. That's why there is need for us to talk about this. There is need for us to talk about everybody's personal brand and the process with the way we align our brand, personal branding. There is a need for us to talk about it because this is your differentiating power. It is what differentiates you in a room of 10 people. It is what makes somebody want to trust you. It's your personal brand that makes you credible to even be able to get opportunities, whether global, whether local. It is your personal brand that makes you tap into opportunities and get them well. So it is very, very important. Now there is something I call the personal brand currency, and this is actually needed in the world of today. Personal brand currency. I have four things that I listed for personal brand currency. And then the first on my list is what I call the reputation capital. Now, this is the currency in the personal branding world. This is the currency in the world system of today. So as I touch on these four items, please I'll need you to get your jotter, your pen, and write them down because much more than this webinar, even if you would have the opportunity to watch it later on, you can actually be doing your personal brand audits right now on your desk. So the first I said is your reputation capital. And what does this mean? This is just the accumulated perception of your expertise, the accumulated perception of your character, of your reliability. That is what reputation capital is. And it is a currency because it can be bad, it can be good, it can be it can be really bad, yes, for some people. So I need you to ask yourself, what is my reputation capital? What's the accumulated perception of Kewe's brand, of my values, of my character, of my expertise, of my skill? You get, and I like to say that it's just like a mental shorthand of what people use when you are not there, or what people align your name with when you are not there. And how does it work? It works with you building your network. It works with you showing your network what you are capable of handling, what you are capable of doing. Now, when I started, I didn't say I'm a brand manager, customer experience. I started with what I do. I started with the problem I solve. You get, so, and this has come over time of the experiences, the projects that I've worked on, the success stories that I've had in my own career. You get, so that's your reputation capital, and it compounds. I like to say it's a compounded interest. So your personal brand as your currency is your compounded interest. It is what people old even when you leave an organization. So I like to say now the world is moving from not just working in resources intermediaries limited at this time. It is moving from okay, after RIL, I have worked in the bunker, I have worked in so and so bank. What goes with me in all of these places? What testimony do people have? People that I've worked with or people that I've serviced, what testimony can they say about me? That's the accumulated perception that they now have about me. So personal brand is I cannot overemphasize how important it is now. It is the currency of today. So it is not about I am an accountant in this place at this moment. What is your personal brand currency? What perception are you living based off of your character, of your skills, your expertise, and your network? And like I said, how do you make this possible? It can only be possible with your interaction with the workplace, with the future of work, and even the present. It's your interaction with your bosses, your interaction with your colleagues, your interaction with customers, your interaction with prospects. That's the way you can build your reputation. And then for entry levels also who are on this call, you might say, okay, I've never worked in a place. How do I build this? Oh, we're going to talk about that in the other slide that I would also touch. But so that I do not forget it, you can build it with volunteering capacities. You can volunteer to work for an organization that is not even paying you a dime yet. You can be on projects. You can be on CSRs in churches, in NGOs. You can have that. You can be on internship programs. That's the way you build your reputation. That's the way you build your personal brand and allow it work for you. Now, the next I'm going to be talking about is network equity. Network equity. And for me, I like to say that this basically is the value of your professional network, your professional relationships. It is the value. Now, where we are now in the world system is much more than Kere, how many people how many contacts do you have on your phone? It's much more than how many people do I see when I go to events and all of that. It has moved from just collecting business cards, call memos, and all of that. It has moved to who would take my call when I call. It is now who would vouch for me when I am there or when I am not there. Who would share opportunity with me and say, I know Kere can handle this. That is network equity. So I could have said, okay, personal brand currency now is just network, but now I'm saying equity because it's now about how you can use your network to gain monetary rewards, how you can use your network to gain another network reward. That is your equity. That is network equity. So the value of your professional relationship. Somebody used to say that, I think I watched it maybe on Instagram also. And the person said, if I need 50 million naira and I cannot call 10 people out of my network, that means I'm not good to go. Sort like that. Well, we can laugh over it and then say, oh, who do I have and all. But then in your network, what have you been able to build? What value have you been able to give to this network that they also can give you back in return? Let's not just focus on collect, collect, collect. I thought to also mention this. We need to also focus on what we can give, and there is no empty barrel. Every human has a barrel that is full. So it is now for you to know what you are filled up with to be able to give it to the world, to be able to give it to your network. The third currency, the third personal brand currency now in our world today is your digital presence. I remember when I started with personal branding about how we need to align our values, our beliefs, skills, expertise, experiences, or to be able to give us opportunities that we require. And personal branding I think I need to say this is not just about being online. It is not just about being digitally present, even if it is a major part of our personal brand because of the avenues that the digital network and platforms have created for us. But digital presence is not just about how many times do I post, how many followers do I have? No, we're going to be talking about that as we move on. But a personal brand currency is your digital presence. So in this world of today, you need to know the appropriate platforms that you want to play. You need to know the appropriate platforms you want to use to get your network, to build your network, to sustain and keep your network so they are able to see what you are. So for some people, they do not dwell on X, they dwell on LinkedIn. And then for career people like us, LinkedIn is our number one. You get, there are other platforms that you can use for other things. You get, but for the purpose of your career growth and then your personal brand in the career and your career in the world of today, LinkedIn comes to be like number one for now. You get, so digital presence, you must be there, and not just being present. You need to be able to optimize yourself on this platform, optimize your profiles, optimize the way you look. Because first of all, people see before they even know the content you are filled up with. You get, so optimize how you interact with other people who form your network. And then the fourth one for personal brand currency is your trust score. Your trust score. I need us, if you have a pen, and a jotter, please write, because you need to score yourself. What do you think your personal brand trust score is now? And what is trust score? It is a calculated risk that somebody is ready to take for you. Now, we said personal branding. We talked about what Jeff Bezos said about you not being in tables and what people know about your value, your skills, even when you are not there. Now, people are scoring you. So, is anybody ready to take a risk with your name? Is anybody ready to take a risk with your personal brand? Is anybody able to vouch for you to say, I put my, so even if it's not monetary, I put my name down. This person can deliver on this. This person can bring value to this table. When it's time to do committees and projects in your current place of work, can you say that people can vouch for you to say, oh, put Kewe on that panel, put Kewe on that project? It's going to be 100/100. So that's your trust score. Is it at calculated risk others will take based on your consistency, based on your transparency, based on your loyalty, on your demonstrated values. So people are actually ready to take that risk for your name, for your brand. So that's why I like to term it as a personal brand currency. So these four things, like I said, fall under your personal brand currency that you can use to be able to get opportunities. It's not just about I want to be the wealthiest man, I want to be rich, I want to be this and all of that. You must be able to create these opportunities for you to be able to create wealth. And how do you create these opportunities? The currency you use is what? Your reputation, your network, your digital presence, and then your trust score. Moving on, we're also going to be talking about, we're going to run through the personal brand economy. That's the economy of today, where personal branding falls under. It's the emerging economic system where individual reputations, your expertise, your audience relationships function as a productive asset. That's really what the personal brand economy is all about. And I think I also have four I also listed here. The first on my list is the AI disruption. Now, this differentiation shifts you away from what you do to who you are. You get, that's where the AI disruption falls under. Now we are using ChatGPT, Gemini, and some other AI platforms now. When you want to impute what you want the AI to do for you or to give you, you impute exactly what you do, right? Maybe I'm trying to prepare a presentation slide for personal branding to teach so and so. You get, now AI translates it to give you what exactly you are looking for. So not just what you feed it with. You get, so AI disruption has come to stay. And then generic skills are fast going already. So you need to be able to bring up unique perspectives that are valuable to the table. You get, everybody can do this, everybody can do that. But what uniqueness do you bring? What perspective do you bring that can actually sort issues? Now, I also mentioned work normalization. And then I said that your brand precedes you in virtual rooms. Your brand precedes you, whether in physical or virtual rooms, like we've talked about. And then, what is the norm of today? What is the economy saying about the way work is now being done? It is that there is now a global talent pool. So nobody wants to be local again. Most Nigerians are in Nigeria here, but they're working for companies in USA, working for companies in South Africa. It's now a global, is more now, work is now global. It is no longer, this is my corner, this is where I want to be. If you want to grow in your career, that's why we are doing this training, for you to be able to leverage your personal brand, because this is the economy of today. Now, work has moved from just physical to virtual rooms where you don't even need to be there for your skills and your expertise to be needed. You get. And now the third one I have is the platform economy. And then I also said that, yeah, everyone is a media company. Now, you might laugh about it, but this is the truth of the whole matter. Because everybody is now a creator. Everybody's creating something. Everybody's selling something, be it service, be it skills, be it expertise. Everybody is selling. That's the economy of our today. And you need to move with it. There's a necessary factor that you need to move with how the economy is moving, because everyone is now a media company. Somebody has a testimonial, somebody knows something that can be bought, that can be sold and can be bought from another person. And the last I said, the economy of today, people are buying people. People are not buying companies. People are not recruiting. Our Resource Intermediaries Limited, we have recruitment day in, day out. And even when we sit to interview these people, we let them know these talents. We let them know this company needs you to stand as a company. You get. So individuals become trusted information sources. Individuals have become the trust fund of organizations. What they have, the skills they have, that's the people. That's why for us at RIL, we usually say we manage people. We don't manage their productivity and all of that. We manage the people, because when you can manage them well, you'll be able to get all you need to get from them. So, moving on, I said personal branding facets, and I'm going to touch on this because this is like the reality of today also. Now, I mentioned offline and online, but I like to say whatever approach you have can still be applied to both offline and online. That's for your personal branding. And for me, as a brand expert, what I like to say is there are two things now: your first meet, and then your maintain. I like to call it your maintenance meet. So it is good that I met Oluchi today. I did all I could to be able to meet Oluchi. I did all I could to be able to network, add Oluchi to my network. I approached her well. I conversed with her well. I think I left an impression, a good impression with her. But what happens to after that first meeting? That's what I call the maintenance check. So for both online and online, in building your personal brand and leveraging your personal brand, you need to be able to understand the frameworks of approach. You need to understand the framework of conversation. You need to understand the framework of leaving a lasting impression. And we're going to be talking deeply on that in the next slide. Now, your first meet matters more as your maintenance meet, and your maintenance meeting matters as is as important as your first meet. So do not just end with your first meeting with anybody, whether be it online, be it offline. There needs to be a maintenance follow-up check. Like I like to say, yeah. In mastering the arts of your real-time professional personal branding, like we said from the slide we are coming in, there needs to be consistency. There needs to be what? There needs to be consistency. Now, for consistency, whatever you're doing, whether how to get your network or whether how to maintain the networking that you've already initiated, you need to be able to invest even when you don't need it. And you need to be consistent about it. So I'm going to be talking about both physical and both online also. For investing even when you don't need it. For instance, now physically, you go to a networking event, you see somebody that you think you would like to be in your network, or you like to do business with, or as a career person, you just like the person's positioning and all of that. Now, much more than just introducing yourself and then what you do, the problems you solve, and all of that, you need to be able to invest in that person. At the end of the day, or at the end of the event, do you just collect the business cards and keep it in your locker, in a drawer? What do you do afterwards? The next day, do you go back to these call cards and just, oh, it was nice meeting you so and so so day. I look forward to connecting you in other platforms. I look forward to connecting you as time goes on. You get, you need to also be able to, you need to also pay attention. You need to listen well to understand the value that the person has, that you may even want to invest in. Now, not necessarily you even investing in the person at that moment, but as little as giving the person an opportunity, or maybe you see an opportunity online and then you send to the person, maybe one of those days and all of that. Oh, I remember you say you're into this and this is what you do and all of that. Can you check this flyer out? Can you check this link out? I didn't give the person money, but I've invested in the person. Why? Because I've sold knowledge to the person. Oh, I didn't sell, I've given. Yeah, I've given knowledge to the person. So I need to be consistent about this. This is how you master the art of real-time personal branding. Consistency is key. And that's why this point was really necessary for me to say invest even where you don't need it. And I'm going to talk about consistency much more as we go. Now, creativity, this will be also good for online. The materials you share, the positions you share, your thought process, your values that you share. You need to be creative about doing this, because this is the only way to reinforce your personal brand, your content, the content you push out, the content you give. Do not just do copy and paste from, that's the new norm now for LinkedIn. And me, because of what I do, I have some plagiarism checkers. I have some platforms where I go for anything I want to post online. It has to be real. It has to be authentic. You get, but most people just say, I'm a social media manager, I'm this, I'm a copywriter, I'm a content writer, and all of that. There's a difference between content writing and copywriting. Content writing is more like storytelling, more like you're selling to the person's emotions. But copywriting is, you just want the person to buy whatever you are selling at that moment. So this differentiating factor, most people do not know. So that's why you need to, if you cannot do it by yourself, you may need to learn as a career person, as an entrepreneur, entry level, mid level, even top management. You need to learn this. Whoever is handling your page, whoever is handling whatever you are doing, make sure the person is not just lifting up another person's thoughts and then just placing it on your own place. Now, there are some people I follow on LinkedIn that I know when they are the ones who post on particular things, and then I know when they are not the ones. You get, so you do not need your profile to be visible for somebody to see or understand. Oh, you didn't post this and all of that. So you need to be careful, be creative about the way you share your materials and all. Now, communication, my third C for mastering the art of real-time personal branding. I said that you need to be able to build relationships and convey your brand authentically. And in doing this, you need to be knowledgeable. You need to be up to date. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be a jack of all trade or know everything, but you need to at least know a bit of different things that are happening. You need to be able to fill your knowledge bank. Now, there are some people in my network, I used to tell them, you guys just consume, 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 but you don't give back, especially on social media. You see them on social media from morning till night, consuming information, consuming content, and all of that, but they never give back. So it needs to be a two-way. Don't just, and then also don't just give, 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 give. You also need to fill your knowledge bank. You also need to get information. Now, there's something I do that I would like to also teach you guys that you can do. Now, because our work, well, the world has become very busy now, and then everybody's just giving. Everybody's just giving their services. Everybody's just rendering their services and all. Nobody is taking time to sit back and even refill their knowledge back. Now, this is where training actually comes. Our Resource Intermediaries Limited, this is what we preach to organizations and all. Send your people for training. Let them go for different trainings on the job, soft skills, technical skills, and the likes. Because there are some people There are some people who even believe that training is actually a cost, but its costs can be relative. So you're investing in them, because when you don't invest in your people, how do you want them to give you top-notch issues? How do you want them to give you things that are not happening? You get, so you need to be careful. Now, there's a strategy I said I wanted to share with you. That strategy is, because I can be busy, and we know entrepreneurs, career people can be very busy. Before you know, sometimes you check your time. Now it's already to 12. So you check your time, it's already 5 p.m. and you're wondering what I've not even done half of what I need to do of my to-dos for today. You get, so what do I do? Now, because of what I do, like I said, brand communications and all of that, also on social media and all, I try not to get distracted. So what I do is, I have a burner account. Now, that burner account on Instagram, whatever I see on Instagram, a new trend, a new some new information about something, that, when information comes out, just like for instance the tax reform and all of that came in, many people didn't understand what it was about. I, for one, didn't even understand what it was for about. But I started seeing posts of people who were teaching, people who were informing, okay, this is what the government means and all. But because I didn't want to get distracted in my daily task, what do I do? That burner account for on Instagram, I send the links to everything I know I want to go back to get. I send the links on marketing trends. I send the links on brand trends, because I don't want to get distracted from my normal day-to-day activities. Now, when I send the links to that burner account, what do I do? Every Thursday, I take out like 2 to 3 hours. I check the burner account, the links I've checked. I then start informing myself of the things that I really want to learn. But that's why sometimes when my friends see me like, okay, wait, it seems like you know all. No, it's not like I know all. It is an intentional act from me. It is me mastering the art of real-time information, for me to be able to communicate in tables. When I'm on tables and discussions come up about something, I don't just stay there like I don't know what is going on. No, I have to know, because I'm in this world system. It's okay for you not to want to be in the world system, but if you want to be in the world system and leverage your personal brand, these are the issues. These are things that you must be able to give. Your knowledge is power. You must be up to date. You must know what a bit of all what is happening. So that's a strategy on my own, and I just thought to share. I'm not collecting money for that, or you can like to do that. For some people, you can take your notepad and just write down the things. Now, also believe me that because information is fast paced. What I saved on maybe Monday, before Thursday that I'm revisiting it, I promise you it might have changed. For instance, I think I'm going to use this example when the old tint permit thing came up, and then how to do it and all of that. I went online. I think I went with a particular brand. I followed them. I watched the video and all. Then I stored up some things. Maybe I stored it up maybe on Monday. Before Thursday, for me to revisit that my burner account and then now check information to see how to go about it, the government had already put hold on it. Now it wasn't relevant to me again. You get, I delete. So you must also be able to know this is real time, real time, real time. That's why you must always be at par with information and all of that now, and be able to convey this information authentically. Anything you are not sure of, do not repost. You've not done your due diligence on it. Do not repost all of those things, because some people, this is what even our today has come to, because we believe in quotes in some people, and we believe, especially some celebrities and all of that, we believe whatever they say. You get, now most of them, I like the fact that most of them now know the impact that they have on our generation, on people like us. So they're now a bit very careful. You get, so you also have to be careful on that aspect. If you don't know about any information, do not repost. Don't repost on your status. Don't repost on your stories. Be sure of whatever information first before you communicate it. And then the last I said is, you need to be ready to help. In our world of today, this is how you can leverage your personal brand. You need to be ready to help. Help your network. Be open to partnership. Share contacts. Connect other people. Don't just scroll on stories and just scroll and scroll. No, there is something there for another person in your network. You need to be intentional about it. The world has gotten so busy that everybody has gotten so busy. I don't think this was okay, now I'm getting passionate, but I don't think this was the goal of human relationship or human interrelationship. The world is so busy. It now feels like we're in New York Times and all of that. Everybody's just going ahead, going ahead. There is no pause to say, okay, what can I do for this next person? But that's the only way to build your network. When see like minds go be like minds. When I see that somebody has helped me or somebody has even offered to help me before, or somebody has intentionally engaged me, cared about what I do or what I've done, of course, when opportunity comes out, my mouth is not going to be shut. I'm going to actually refer that person or let the world know also about that person. So you need to be able to be open to partnership, share contacts, connect people, pay attention to your network needs. Somebody put something up on your story, oh, I need so and so and so. Check your contact. There's somebody you need that you can refer to that person. Don't just be about yourself. So that's why I said for the real acts of personal branding, you need to be ready to help. If you're not ready to help, there are some groups that I am on. I'm on that group because I want to grow my network opportunities. Groups of like-minded people in my field, not even in my field, but I'm there to be able to see what I can give. And if I see that I can't give anything, and which often than not is not the case, and nobody can give anything, I leave. You get, so please, we need to be ready to help in leveraging your personal brand as a person, as a career person, as an entrepreneur, entry level, mid level. Be ready to help. Now, this is another important. Okay, I think I'll talk about that when I'm talking about much more on consistency and engagement. Now, for online, this is for my online family. There is a rule that I like to play with, and most times in marketing it changes, but it's the 5 to 5 to 5. 5 minutes per platform, 5 posts, 5 times a week. Now, what do I mean? For every day, I spend at least, no, I can never be that busy, or at least it's an intentional act for me. I spend 5 minutes on each social media platform that I am on. I comment on 5 posts, new network, old network, and all of that. And within 5 minutes, I do this within 5 minutes every day, 5 times a week. You get, so sometimes it can be 5 times a week, sometimes every day. For me, every day, 7 days, but because of what I do and all. So you also need to be intentional about this. Now, for your content, remember we talked about content when I said this is just an example of the type of content that you can say, okay, you're doing every day. Well, not every day, but you are consistent with. As a career person, you need to be able to share educational content, not just educational content. You also need to be able to share engagement content. After engagement content, you also need to be you also need to share entertaining content. Please do not be aspire to aspire always. Please, for my career people and for my top management talents on this webinar, share educational content as much as you share engagement content, as much as you share entertaining content. Please, we want to see all sides of you. That's what personal branding is about. Don't just give a, well, sometimes some people just give us this side of them, they don't give us this other side. But for you to build a good personal brand and be able to leverage it, you need to be able to show us all sides of you. Now we're going to move on to the impact speech. I hope you can still hear me. Thank you for your comments. Let me take a break. Just a water break, please. Okay, thank you for your comments on the webinar. Please feel free to share with your network, anybody in. This is the second session that we are going to talk about, and I know that is also why most people are here. Yes, the impact speech. I promised I was going to be giving some templates on us sustaining our networks and the likes. The impact speech. The impact speech. Now, most people refer to this as the elevator pitch, as your personal introduction, your bio, your positioning statement. There are different terms and terminologies that have been used. But an impact speech is actually a concise narrative. It's usually a compelling narrative that communicates who you are, communicates what you do, to your network or to whoever you meet. And it's a differentiating factor that makes you unique, why you matter, why anybody should have you on their network. You get, that's what an impact pitch is about. And most often than not, the expert like to say it's between a it's less than 3 minutes kind of pitch. So I'm going to be taking us through it before we end this session, and then I'll just share some examples. And if you're on this call, you need a particular template and all, I'll be sharing how you can get the template from Resource Intermediaries Limited. Now, your elevator pitch, that's your impact pitch, like I said, comes in four, or I like to say it comes in four. Some other experts and school of thoughts have multiple, but I like to concentrate on these four. Number one, it is the hook. Number two, you need to be able to state the problem you solve. You need to also be able to state your proof points, and then your last bye bye. That's your invitation to them. So that's when they determine if they want to keep you as a friend, as a network. Sometimes even the people who go for interviews use these, they adopt this strategy. So you can adopt it to anything. Even for marketers, you can adopt this. The hook, problem you solve, your proof points, and your invitation. Now, for the hook usually comes in 3 seconds, like I said. Your hook line must be able to grab attention immediately. It needs to be able to grab attention immediately. So some school of thought say that it needs to be a line that is fascinating, a line that somebody wants to nudge you further to say, okay, can I get more? Even when they've not had everything. Now, for instance, like I said, when I meet somebody and I ask, oh, my name is Oginekewe, who are you? Or can I get to meet you? And the person just goes, oh, my name is Oluchi, I'm a marketing manager, I work in this. Nah, there's nothing fascinating about that. We have millions of marketing managers. But imagine I come up to you and I say, hi, nice to meet you. I love your hair. That's also a hook. But well, for the professional world, you compliment first, and after complimenting, you're like, I hope B2B companies stop sounding like robots. The person is like, oh, really? Then the person now engages you further. Are you a tech bro? Or are you a, then that's when you say, no, I market so and so platforms. That's when you come. Now, for the second one, instead of just saying, I'm a software engineer, you meet somebody for the first time. My name is Ogene Kere. I actually build AI tools that actually understand human frustration. You've just told the person you are a software engineer, but in a fascinating way. Somebody say, okay, that's just on a lighter note. But can you see how excited I am? Even saying the hook, I am excited. It is fascinating to hear. So not just you meet somebody for the very first time. Oh, I'm a consultant. Nancy, there are many consultants in Nigeria. What exactly do you do? What exactly would you say that's going to grab my attention? I find the money leaks that CFOs miss. That's what makes it. So these are just templates that I just came up with. So if you have your pen and biro, you must find what is exciting with what you are currently doing. Now, many people will tell me, "Oh, I just found the work, or I'm just doing what I'm doing just for the time being." Whatever you are doing in your current position, you need to find what is exciting. You need to find what is fascinating, what another person would hear and say, "Ah, I think I'm interested in this role. I think I'm interested in being this." Now, when I was little, I wanted to be a doctor. Yeah. Well, that's a story. That's another story for another day. Yeah, but I actually wanted to be a doctor. And why? I was fascinated with the way they dressed. In fact, I liked the role so much that my uncle had to get me a stethoscope. It's still in my house up to today. So I just use it to touch people. I was fascinated by this little thing like this. I just put it on the earth and I can hear the big beam sound you get. So that fascinated me about as a child. That was what really wanted why I really wanted to be a doctor without even knowing any other thing that they could save life and all of that. Just that. You get, so you need to find something exciting, something fascinating about what you do that another person would be moved to take a nudge and say, okay, can I hear further? Can I hear you further? So not just about I am this, I am that, I am a project manager, I am this. Somebody says I am hooked. You have to be hooked. Yes. So please take your pen, your bio is an activity and exercise. What is your hook as a careerpreneur, as an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing, as a salesperson, as an engineer, as a tech bro, as a brand marketing consultant? What is your hook? What do you do? When I started, what did I say? I introduced myself as Ogenekewe, and I started with the world system has become a way that all brands are busy delivering their services, and everybody is forgetting about being visible. Everybody also wants to be on the top of mind. What do? I help you to create your brand resonance. I help you to manage your visibility. I didn't just come up to say I am this. You get? So we are moving from the norm to the hook, and I hope you are hooked. Yeah, then three techniques that are here that I can also touch. I've also touched that. I said the curiosity gap. I solve a problem most leaders don't know they have. I've helped 47 companies cut custom churn by half. So you can come from any angle, but just make sure you get whoever is listening to you hooked at that point in time. Now, remember I said there are four things, so I need to rush on it. Remember I said there are four things: the hook, the problem you solve, your proof points, and then your invitation. So now for the problem you solve, so going over to the problem you solve, you need to be able to name the pain points you address, and you need to make it relatable. Let it be relatable. What you do after you say your hook points, the pain points, what you solve, what you address, and make it relatable. My own problem I solve in my own impact speech. Remember what I said? I first said my name, and then I first said the system of today. Most organizations want to be top of mind. That's a problem I solve. Now, how do I do it? I help to create visibility, and I help to manage their brand resonance and manage authenticity. I've just told you my hook. I just told you the problem I solve. Now, examples here we say that most tech founders build great products but can't explain them to investors. I'm sure this would read to be somebody that is what a marketer, somebody that's been has been employed to market the service of this tech organization. Now, another person says most mid-level managers work 60 hours but get passed over for promotions. This is an example of the problem somebody solved. Now, this could be a coach trying to sell his own service to his network. So these are just examples of how you can use the hook, the problem is solved, and then the next thing is your proof points. Now, much more than saying this is your hook and putting everything in a sentence. I think the last slide is going to show everything in a sentence, an example. Your proof points. You also need to be able to tell the person you are just meeting a proof of what you say you claim you do, or a proof of what you claim you solve. You get? So it could be I have managed customer service experience for over 7 years, and every company or my particular company has been able to record 70% churn rates. You get? It could be I've been able to transform a company from bankruptcy to acquisition in 18 months, or currently the company that I am, I've been able to. So this is about you louding your mic. This is not the time for you to, it's not you being pompous or say this is time for you to be humble. No, you are a team lead, even if you've not done anything. A team lead has over 20 people is managing. There is nobody who hears, oh, I manage over 20 people, or depending on who you're talking to at that time, or I manage over 100 people. The person does not pause to say, okay, there's something here. You get? So those are your proof points. Those are your reference points that you can use. After coming through from your hook, the problem you solve, you need to give your proof points, and then you now need to give your bye-bye 10, like I like to say. That's your invitation. So now this is an example of a career strategist. If you can follow me through, it says what? It says most talented professionals get stuck in roles that undervalue them, not because they lack skills, but because they are invisible to decision makers. I build personal brand engines that bring opportunities to you. Then his proof point is one client even landed a VP role she didn't apply for just from her LinkedIn presence. And that was how I was able to help her. I'm curious, how do you currently get on the radar of senior leaders? I've been able to say my hook, the problem I solve, the proof points, and now the invitation to the person I am meeting. This is just an example of an impact speech sample. Another one by a tech founder says this is his own hook. Everyone says AI will replace jobs. I think somebody even mentioned this in the comment section. But I think it would expose which leaders actually understand their customers. Now, the person goes further to say what's the problem the person solves. I build AI tools that predict customer frustration before they complain, not after. Now, what is this person's proof point? We just helped a telecom reduce churn by 34% in 90 days. What's your take? That's the invitation to the person. So after I introduce what I do, after I tell you the proof points in 22 seconds, I'm now giving you an invitation. So what's your take in AI? Or what do you think? Is AI a threat or opportunity for your industry? So we need to be this intentional in our impact speech as an entrepreneur. Now, in summary, entrepreneur and careerpreneur, and for career people, my career guys. Now, in summary, I said that your digital footprint is primary, your resume is secondary. The time you spend as much as reading a resume, it's the same time you need to spend on your digital footprint that we've talked about, your digital presence and all of that. You also need to be able to optimize platforms like LinkedIn through storytelling, through content writing, what you think. You are not empty. Your barrel is full. There's something in you. Don't get too busy with delivering, and not being able to give your value. Let people be able to align your values and all. And then the last I said is dedicate your time to filling up your knowledge bank. Because when you're in tables and you cannot relate, when you're in tables and you cannot even align what you think about a particular subject, your personal brand is on a zero. So, with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to share with you on how to leverage your personal brand. If there's something you're not currently doing that I've mentioned, strategies that I've given, please get back to the drawing table and make this an intentional act. Now, for further things, there are people on this call that would also want some help. Resources Intermediaries Limited, we are open to it. So we have a personal brand material that we give. It's a template that we can also share with you at a very minimal fee. Common mistakes to avoid as a for your personal brand templates so that you can also own your pitch. Maybe I've shared this template and you're not still clear about it, and then you want a one-on-one. And then you also are a salesperson, you also want to be able to get some templates on how to sell better in our today world. Please feel free to reach out to us via any of our platforms, social media platforms, Resource Intermediaries, or our email at info@resourceintermediaries.org. There's a personal brand material for career people like us, for entry levels, for mid level, for senior level. So anybody you think would need this template, would need this material, please feel free to share and give us an email, notify us via our email or any of our social media platform, and we will share this material with you. I hope it's been an amazing session. Thank you so much for joining. And till we meet again in another webinar, I'm going to ask you, where are you now on your personal branding? What are you going to do differently? And what have you been doing that you need to stop? But please, we need to be intentional if we want our personal brand to be top notch, if we want to be able to get global opportunities and then go forward in our career growth. So with this, I'm still Ogeneke, where your brand girl. Yeah. And then till we meet again, please feel free to follow us on all our social media handles to get